So I had worked with Todd Snyder through the late '90s, and I've been working with him ever since. He's a good friend, and he's brilliant. And we were in New Orleans at Tipitina's one night and playing with Todd Snyder, and Jerry Jeff Walker was there, and
wow, yeah,
that's the right thing to say. Woo.
Yeah.
Let's have some sangria wine. And then Jimmy Buffett was there, and so backstage at Tipitina's is smaller than this stage, and so you had about 500 people in a space smaller than this to party backstage with Jerry Jeff and Jimmy Buffett, and there's just nothing back there, but there's no beer. It's just like a mop bucket. It's kind of like the one at your school that smells like chalk, and that weird. There's a special kind of disinfectant they use to clean up elementary schools and college town bars. It's the same stuff, and one smells like chalk and that, and the other smells like vomit and that. For some reason, the one at Tipitina smells like chalk too. I don't know. So I met Buffett back there because we were pressed up against the wall together. Hey, I'm Will. I'm from Mobile. And he said, "Oh, you're another escapee." And but my roots with the Buffetts go way back because my dad represented one of the Buffett sisters in her divorce and one of her many fine divorces. And I'm joking, but also he knew Jimmy Faulkner, who was William Faulkner's brother. So I just moved it all the way over from Buffett to Faulkner. And my first car that I got to borrow was a 1961 Buick Special that had one of those tube radios in it, It had, vacuum tubes in it. And nothing sounded better on the oldies radio when you'd hear Chuck Berry or like the early Beatles or Motown on there, or maybe James Brown, Please, 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 or something like that. It sounds good when it just sounds like it's about to blow up. 61 Buick Special, great car. So Jimmy Faulkner's widow was Madame Faulkner, and she had literally driven it. She was a French lady he met during World War II. And now back to the Buffetts. So Melanie told me 5 years after we played at Tipitina's, she called me and said, "My uncle's asking after you." And I said, "Well, what you mean, your Uncle Jimmy?" And he said, "Not Jimmy Faulkner, Jimmy Buffett." And she said yes. And I said, "Well, what does he want?" And she said, "Well, he's just asking what you're doing." And I told him, "You're still playing music." And so she gave me this address in Sag Harbor in the Hamptons, and very nice location. And that's a real escapee right there. But anyway, I sent him what I had. I had like 2 or 3 records. I think I had a Biscuits album and my first solo record in this record to make a Home Away. And then about 3 months later, I didn't hear anything. 3 months later, I heard back from like an office, Jimmy Buffett office in Florida, down in Miami area, West Palm. That was the area code. And they said, "Mr. Buffett would like to record these 2 songs. Would that be okay?" And I said, "Yes, that would be fine." And then nothing, didn't hear anything. And I figured it wasn't going to happen. And then about 3 months later, they called and said, "Mr. Buffett would like to know if you could come to Key West in February, early February, and play on the album, and we're going to record these 2 songs." And I said, "Okay, I'll be there." So, and this is a song that got recorded, and I wrote this song in the bathroom at Baptist Hospital in Nashville. My youngest daughter, Sadie, who's now a rising senior in high school, and is grounded this weekend for having a party last weekend. But she made a 34 on the ACT, so she's an evil genius. And so this is a song I wrote while waiting for her to get, she was a premature baby, and she had to get, in Tennessee at the time, it was about 4.5 pounds, and you could go home to the shack, and back home to the trailer. And Get on that. Get that baby on home to the trailer. She weighs 4.5 pounds. Time to start working in the coal mine. Anyway, so I was spending the night, you know, when you got a baby staying at the hospital, you can stay, you know, nobody gets to stay but the baby. And then the night before, they're going to weigh the baby at dawn, like the prize fighters. And then hopefully they get to go home. So we were excited. So my oldest daughter Emma was 5, and Jessica and I went and spent the night at the hospital. But there wasn't room for me in the hospital bed. They're all petite and they're all in the bed, all snuggled up, cute. And they were like, "Well, I guess you're gonna have to sleep in the window." But luckily, I wrote this song. I like this song a lot. It's just playing with words, trying to sleep in a hospital window. I like when I play these low notes, this tin roof rattles. I'm a piece of work, I'm iron and lace, shy right up there in your face. I'm all dumbfounded, stubborn as an ass, sharp as an arrow in a pile of glass. I'm a sweetheart, genius, reckless jerk, Lord have mercy, what a piece of work. Well, the Lord made me on a long thin limb, made sure I'd remember him or her in the middle of a long dark night. Creation crazy, death sheet white, made in the image of a lion-shot lamb. I am who the hell I am, ever, better, bad, the worst, down to the letter. I'm a piece of work. I'm a dreadful sight and I just don't care. Spent all morning pulling out my hair. Woke at dawn with a crazy spin. Half the day trying to glue back in. Mother Bloody Mary, please wipe that smile off your knees. I'm the CEO of the mailroom clerks. Good God Almighty, what a piece of work. I'm a dreadful sight and I just don't care. Spent all morning pulling out my hair. Woke at dawn with a crazy spin. I was half the day trying to glue back in. Mother Bloody Mary, please wipe that smile right off your knees. I'm the CEO of the mailroom clerks. Good God Almighty, what a piece of work. I'm a piece of work, an angel's fiend, bathed in lavender and gasoline. Scared brave shallow in an ink black well, lightly brown in the fires of hell. Wicked, holy, full-on, fake, best known from a big mistake. Zen, wise, peaceful, gone berserk. I said, good God Almighty, what a piece of work. I'm a piece of work, I'm an angel fiend. I'm a piece of work, I'm a lovesick boy, clawed cap, caviar, and corduroy, all over the map, just lost in space with a filthy mind and a quiet voice, please. Heels up, head down, straight on through. Watch out, woman, I'm gonna get to you. Gladiator with a mind to earth. Come on, see you a little later, I'm a piece of work. Yeah. Piece of work. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here, too. This is really beautiful.